All right. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in and joining us. As you can see, we're going to have a silver and gold discussion today about spot. We're going to have, spot price, premiums, and we're going to address everything in between. So, special guest with me today that knows the market very well. We have Mr. Nerd Analyst. Hey, thank you for being here, Nerd.
What's up?
That's a normal nerd intro right there, guys. You know how you know nerd. What up? I'm here. What do you want? No, but we're gonna do some Q&A with each other, but we're also gonna get into where we think the market might be heading. Now, I am not a financial advisor by any means. We are not an investment group of any means, so you can take what we say with a grain of salt. This is just us talking about it.
Couple of guys chewing the fat.
Yeah, two dealers, two collectors, just opinions, and feel free to chime in through this live stream, or if you watch this after it is done being live, feel free to leave a comment and we'll continue the discussion. So first one, Nerd, what do you I know we're not a predictor of spot prices by any means, but do you see us playing around within the $19 to $22 area in spot for the next little bit, or are we going to?
I see it being pretty flat. I mean, if you want to call $2 swings flat, but I think it's found its wave. I don't think it's going to get much higher. I don't see it getting much lower. I think you're going to see 18, 19 lows to 20, 21 highs. You're not going to see the big swings for a while. And that's because of the things that are going on, just things are going on. People are hurting for money. Interest rates are going up. People are feeling the squeeze.
And right. So you say you think it's going to, stay flat, like you said, the way you just said it, if you want to call $2 flat, which we'll call it $2 normalcy at the moment. Mm-hmm. So spot price, say we're at 21.50 something and change, or let's say 21.50 for argument's sake. At that point, where do you think a dealer should be over to make a little bit of, to make their profit margin or to make their overhead, but to still be within a fair market? And on the second question, do you think a coin dealer is better than a bullion dealer, or vice versa?
Well, I mean, if we look at pre-craziness, 2018s, 2019s, before everything went kaplooey, it was pretty consistent. No matter how much silver was going up or down, your generic was 1 or 2 over, and your bullion was around 5 over, sometimes 6, depending on what it was. But it never really strayed from that, even as it was going down. Because I've been collecting and stacking since 2011, so I rode it all the way down. And right. Even then, as it was going down, the spread, if you will, stayed consistent. I mean, and that's how they kept maintaining their money, because they were moving. Dealers would move it so fast and get it in so fast on such a consistent rate that even as it was going down, they were just buying. If it dropped $1 that day, then they were buying for $1 less, and they fell for $1 less, and they just wrote it down like everybody else did. But after the craziness of the last few years, people got crazy on the prices, and yes, you can see a big disconnect between what I call paper spot and physical, and that's because physical's harder to get. Now, do I like it? No.
Well, I don't think anybody likes it.
To a point. You do see some of the things coming down again. I have seen in the range of $5 over for bullion, and I've seen as low as $3 over for generic. It doesn't happen often, but it does. It's not the norm anymore, but it does happen, and that's when I try to pick up. Is when I can get it back to that relative normalcy, that's when I try to pick up.
Right.
Now, as far as the
I
second
mean,
question,
okay.
you said dealer, coin dealer, or bullion dealer.
Mhm.
Hey, Mater. To me, if you're dealing with precious metals, you're both, no matter what.
Well,
Because
let me.
there is nobody that is a pure coin dealer, and there's no pure bullion dealers out there that don't deal in
Right,
numismatics as
because
well.
even bullion dealers will have people selling, bringing
Yes,
graded currency or whatever
but
in,
they have to
or
be on
graded
top of everything.
Morgans. Exactly. Your bullion dealers are going to bullion, excuse me, are going to focus more on, um, the precious metal side of it. Of course, they're
Yeah,
going to have the graded Morgans
yeah.
and peace dollars, what have you, and because obviously they're going to resell them. Their
I
job.
don't I don't see a lot of in today's economy. I don't see a lot of what you would consider coin dealers. Then I think it's bullion first, and then numismatic second.
Well,
I see that a lot.
unfortunately, I consider ourselves a coin dealer, but you're right. Unfortunately, coin dealers are becoming bullion dealers because, well, the supply and demand is in the bullion coins, the gold, silver, the
Mm-hmm.
platinum, things of that nature. Coin collecting is becoming secondary, whether
Mm-hmm.
it be stuff behind me that's premium stuff that's graded, or versus graded currency, or a key.
That's
A,
coin dealer right there. That's
right.
numismatic stuff.
Yeah. See, that's a
No,
W
no,
set.
yeah, that's a 2020 W set. So that would be something a coin dealer would be interested in, but a bullion dealer wouldn't even take a second look at.
Right. A bullion dealer would look at you going, "I'll give you $25 for it."
They'd
If
probably
you're
say, I'll give you,
if you're lucky,
if you're lucky, more
they'll
than
give you
likely
a
you'll
five a
say,
quarter.
yeah, I'll give you, a dollar a quarter because I know I could probably flip them for
But
5
the
cents.
reason I asked you about the bullion dealer versus the coin dealer, do you think you can get a better deal with bullion, with the which is going to lead me into our YouTube in a minute? Do you think you can get a better deal at going to an actual coin deal that deals in more numismatics? They might have some bullion. Do you think you'll get a better deal closer to spot with those guys versus an actual just like a gold and silver buyer?
It gets down to uh, how personal or impersonal you are with the person.
Uh-huh.
Bullion dealers, they have their margins. They're razor thin. They're gonna stick to those margins, and they're gonna follow the trends.
Right.
Coin dealers are going to be more of your locals, your for lack of a better term, mom and pops. They're going to be the ones that are going to actually look at and see what the values there beyond the weight, and they're gonna probably, if they're reputable, they're gonna price it accordingly. They're going to buy it and sell it accordingly.
Right.
But that also depends on if I've been going to the same shop for 10 years and I'm on a first name basis with the guy, I'm probably going to get a little bit better deal buying from him, and
Oh, yeah.
he's probably more
There's
willing to buy from me at a little better price, as if I just walked into a random store and said, "Hey, I got this."
and then they tend to know, after a while, what you buy and what you collect and what you
They know what you
stack or
got.
whatever and what you want. So they usually try to have it on hand, or
Yeah,
they're more uh, reputable, or the people
I've
that keep
been at
coming back.
a relative disadvantage because there has not been a coin dealer within 30 miles of me in years. And now I'm living where I'm living. There's one right up the road, but he never has anything in because he has his regulars and he gets hit as soon as he gets it. And he doesn't go to a wholesale market to pick it up. He only deals with what he gets in. So he
Oh,
doesn't.
okay. So he doesn't go to like
No,
JM Bullion on like because dealers, there is a dealer side of the
right.
JM or the
Mm-mm.
SD Bullion where we can get dealer prices.
Now the only thing I
I'm
can get from him at any given time is gold. Now he has Eagles on hand any given time, but when
Hang
it
on a
comes to
second.
silver, he's always out. So
Yeah. So um uh My take on between bullion dealers and coin dealers is I deal with, I have a wholesaler that is a coin dealer, but I also have a wholesaler that is a bullion dealer. Um, and when spot goes down and we try to buy in the dips and things of that nature, I tend to get a better price with my bullion dealer, even though his premiums are still, uh, $3 to $4 over spot versus my
Mhm.
coin dealer because my coin dealer, um, he tries to just keep it at one flat level. But I get a better deal with him closer to spot if silver goes up with my coin dealer because he's just selling them for $25 an ounce. Now spot's at 21.90
Right.
something, he's still at 25. But if it's
And
at 19 and change, he's still at 25. My bullion dealer will go up and down with it, but my
and a
coin
rookie
dealer won't
mistake,
be. It,
right?
it is, it is.
A
But
rookie mistake is to stick with one person anyway. I mean,
well,
you've
yeah,
got to shop
yeah.
around.
Well, and that's what I mean. Honestly, I've got two in Vegas. I've got one in Havasu. I've got one in Flagstaff. I've got a Kingman. I've got one here in town. So I've got plenty to go to. It's just I've noticed with coin dealers, they prefer the collector market, which brings me into the premiums.
Hmm.
Like your premium silver, your collectible stuff, like your we'll call your. I've been to a coin. I've been to bullion coin dealers where they'll have marble rounds, brand new 2022 to 2023s, or lunars, year of the whatevers, and they want almost $45 a piece for them for 1 ounce pieces, and I'm just like, wow, why?
Hmm.
It's crazy. And then you've got other ones that will have uh, a little bit cheaper. And I'm trying to figure. I'm like, how do you guys stay in business? So, which also brings me to my thing. What do you think of? And I love these channels that I'm going to name out. Um, but when they go to sell on everyday opportunity on trade day, midweek flea markets, late night, early bird trade day, Mama T, anywhere that has a platform where other people can come up and buy and sell. What do you think with people's prices? Do you think that they're pretty? You think they're too outrageous because some of these guys made the rookie mistakes and bought silver at $27, and so now they're trying to get a $2 profit and they can't move it, or
Um, that's tough. I mean, it all depends on if it comes to pure generic. I mean, there people still have that price memory of spot in their mind, and they want
right,
to get as close to spot as possible. And like EC, he can't stand premiums because they're out. I mean, if you think about it, they're through the roof. If you compare
they
the,
are. I mean,
but that's relative. They're through the roof, but when the price goes down, it really looks that way because they're sticking with that. Let's just use a generic $5 for $5 over spot generic. Let's use that, as a platform. When silver is 25 an ounce and you're paying 30, doesn't feel so bad. But when
right.
it's 15 an ounce and you're paying 20, it stings a little more because the percentage is different.
Right. Well, one that stings me is like, say, right now, you know, by the time that we can get here, we'll just call it $20.50 at spot. But people are selling them for $27 to $29. I'm like, $9 over spot. Even at that point, I think you need to cut your losses and sell it at a cheaper price and
But the
rethink your
sad thing is,
strategy.
the thing about it is though is you're talking about you see people doing that with the big bullion banks. They'll sell down, but like I said before, they're buying down as they sell down, so they're not going to lose money. They may break even, but they're not going to lose. But when you're talking about an individual just trying to recoup money, yeah, it's gonna take a loss, and it seems like it's $7-8 over spot, but there's still a disconnect between spot and physical. You
Right.
can't
And
go to
I
any online bullion dealer, and right now, even during these Black Friday deals, the cheapest I've seen is $2 over spot, and you have to buy a kilo bar to get that.
Right. Well, and that's another thing that brings me to my next thing. And this is just my personal, you can agree or disagree or tell me what you think. But I am staying away from online bullion dealers because I think they've manipulated the market too much and they're just outrageously crazy. Now, I understand some people have to go that route because there's not a local shop within 100 miles of themselves. Me, I'm fortunate. I've got plenty to go to where I've got different opportunities where I would prefer to buy live because they have overhead. They're a mom and pop shop or something, and they're wanting to get that stuff out of there because they got bills to pay and they got a family to raise, you know. And I think you're going to get, even if it's $2 cheaper per ounce, you buy 20 ounces or more, or you know, you're saving some money. And so I would rather buy live. I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm just sticking away from the online retailers right now because I just think they've got it way
I
over
look at
manipulated.
everybody has their comfort zone of what they're wanting to buy for. I can tell you right now that most of the stuff I've got initially came from bullion dealers online because I didn't have anybody to go to, and even now you can still find things at better prices from them. But that's because they deal in such large inventories, and like I said, they buy down and they buy up, so that their margins. You might think their premiums are outrageous, but a lot of times they're buying from, say they're offering straight up government bullion for 27.
Right.
They're probably only paying 24, and and that's because they're going to a major hold. They're not buying from individuals. They're usually buying from a major bullion bank that is buying straight from the mints.
Right.
They're the I mean, there's a wholesaler in between them and the mint, basically.
Right.
There's a lot of people out there that are straight to mint.
Yeah. And I don't know. Another brings me to another is if a person buys bullion or your gold or silver coins, um, if they pay a little more over spot to buy them from an individual, I think that they are, I think it's worth going back in there and paying a little more over spot for, their coins. If you're wanting to do that. But if you have a dealer that's like, well, I'll give you spot price for it, but they're going to go over here and sell them for $30, that's a dealer that I wouldn't trust too much. I wouldn't deal with them.
No, and that's where reputable comes in.
Right.
People that know the price of the market and are willing to buy a couple under and sell for a couple over market, that's the people you stick with because the price is going to be consistent, price is going to be fair. And if you have to get rid of, you're going to get a fair return on your investment, if you will. A lot of places, not just bullion dealers, online bullion dealers, but I'm sure you know who Silver Seeker is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've seen some of his where he calls and just does price checks around the nation. And he does it in single party states so that he doesn't have to tell them he's doing it. But the thing is he finds out there's good and there's bad out there. And how you approach them is one thing. If you come at them with, please help me, sir, I'm lost, they're going to try to rake you over the coals. But if you walk over and say, I know spots this, I know the premiums of this, I know that this was the retail, would he give me? They're pretty quick and straightforward to the point. They're not going to try to jack you around. So everybody needs to be educated to the point of at least being one step above ignorant. It's true. It's a true statement.
You have to have if you're gonna be in any collectible, you have to have a basic understanding of what you're collecting. If you're gonna stack, you have to have a basic understanding of what you're stacking, whether it be precious metals or art or statues or toys. It doesn't matter. If you don't know your product, at least at some basic level, then somebody's gonna take advantage.
Right.
or you're gonna take yourself for advantage.
Now, what do you think of the premium market? Do you think that's I know we talked a little bit backstage, but on the premium, just on the premium stuff, that's like $150 or $200 for an ounce of silver, or for 3 ounces of silver for a piece. Do you?
Well,
To me, from a dealer's point of view, I don't think that's a smart investment. You're not going to get that back.
if you're collecting, then fine, you're collecting. But if you're stacking of anything, that is a poor investment. When you're paying 3, 4, 5 times the value of the silver content in it, you're collecting at that point. You're not stacking.
Right.
You're not even a casual stacker at that point. If you got those kind of pieces, if you got those kind of pieces in your possession, in your collection, you're speculating. You're not collecting.
And there's nothing wrong with being a collector.
Nope,
I think being a collector is great.
Nothing
I think being a
wrong with
collector is great.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be the guy who goes, I have $1,000 a month that I want to put in precious metals for part of my portfolio, don't be the guy that goes and gets the $200 piece.
Exactly.
You're not the stacker anymore. You
I believe
really just
everybody
became the collector.
Everybody spends their money that we want to.
Right.
We're all big boys. Everybody has their own, what I call their entertainment dollars that they have that they can spend each month.
Or girls for you in chat.
Well, I'm from Texas. Everybody, when we're speaking, it's all guys. Y'all. I can start saying y'all if you want to.
Right. We'll just y'all. We'll just y'all it.
But the fact of the matter is you spend your money the way you want to. And the only thing I say is don't do one thing and then complain about the exact opposite thing that you're doing. If you're one of the reasons that's causing that issue. If you're going to spend $100 on 1 ounce of silver because it's a nice premium, quote unquote, limited edition piece, don't complain about the premiums of the other bullion.
Right, exactly. It's just like back here behind me. You know, that Harry Potter, that's a 1 ounce. That Harry Potter is a 1 ounce. That's 2 ounces. That big one in the middle, that's only 5 grams of silver. Right. So, but there, with the grading fees and everything, there's over $375 up on the shelf.
Right.
For a little over 2 ounces of silver. That's not stacking.
No,
so that's what we're talking about. It's great to collect if you want to collect it, but just know you're not going to get that back if you take it to a shop. You're not going to get that
Make
back.
sure you understand what you're doing. That's all I got to say.
Right.
Don't compartmentalize your train of thought to the point where that you're collecting doesn't interfere with your stacking, because it does. Every dollar that you apply to your collecting habit is a dollar you take away from your stacking habit.
All right. Now, do you think for a stacker collector, I guess, or we'll just call it a stacker. Do you think anything government backed is good to stack?
Yep.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Okay, since you said yes, why?
Why?
Yeah.
Okay, so this all gets into the SHTF side of things when you're stacking. What's the purpose of stacking? The purpose of stacking is to hedge against the crap that's going on.
Hedge
But
against
at the end of the
inflation.
day, you're going to sell. At the end of the day, you're going to sell so that you can recoup that money back out and live off of it. That's the purpose of stacking. You will retain more. You'll get back more of that premium you paid from a government coin than you will from a generic. For instance, if I pay 5 over spot for a government coin and I pay 3 over spot for a generic coin, when I go to sell, I'll be more likely to get $3 to $3.50 back of that premium off the government coin, but I may get spot or $1 for the generic.
Right.
So I'll gain more of my premium back in the end. So as a pure stacker, if I get just straight, nothing but generic, 10 ounce bars, 1 kilo bars, stuff like that, and I'm paying $2 over spot, when I go to sell, more than likely, I'm going to get spot or maybe right under from bullion dealers.
What do you think? Okay, so since you said government backed for you is a good way to go, which I know you personally. I know you get both.
Mm-hmm.
You have both. But what do you think of the craziness that's going on with the ASEs? Is that still within? Yes, it's good, or stay away from those right now. If you got them, great. If not, stay away.
I think of ASEs let's put it in forms of cars. A card does one thing, get you from A to B. Now I can go buy the clunker and it'll get me there. It ain't gonna be pretty, but it'll be cheap.
Right.
Or I can go get the Cadillac. It'll look nice and flashy, but it's gonna do the exact same thing the clunker is, but it's gonna cost me more. In today's times, the thing here's where it gets back to that recoup premium. If I go sell the clunker, I'm gonna get cheap, but if I sell the Cadillac, I'm gonna get more. The problem is people have looked at ASEs as the god king of silver. They are the top, world renowned. They're it. They've taken number one spot, and people accept 10 plus premium for them. Now, like I said, premium's relative, but yeah, that's just where it is. With and
Now,
ASEs,
here's the problem I have with ASEs. You just like Nerd, is 35 a good? Is 30 or I'm sorry, not Nerd, 80 coins. Is 35 a good price? No. Honestly, I don't even think 30 is a good price. Now, with the high premiums about where they're being sold, unfortunately, you're going to get it for about 29 to 30. That's just where it's at. And I don't have to like it, but that's where we're at with it. Doesn't mean I'm going to go buy them, because I'm not. I don't got to like it. But here's the issue I have. There's so many graded ASEs out there in MS69. Those sell for $45 all day long.
Some as cheap as 40.
Yeah. So now, if you're going to get into ASEs, you're going to get into the bullion. I personally would rather get into at least the PCGS or NGC of it, because if I can get it for $10 more and it's graded, at that point, there's no argument of what it's worth. A third-party company said, this is what it is. This is the price that it's going. This is the fair market value on this. Now, a 70 is a completely different, because it's a perfect and it's going to go up more. But I would rather go get a whole bunch of slabbed ASEs for $10 more, because I know when I go to sell them, I'm probably going to get 40 a piece from the dealer. Like you said, I'll get more for the Cadillac versus the clunker. That's me. Now, I'm not telling everybody to leave the raw ASEs alone and go get all the 69s you can get. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that, and that's not a good stacking strategy. But if you're going to be the stacker collector, and at least for the ASEs, that's a good. I would rather see people going for the MS69 ASEs versus, the ASEs and the two that people got on their desk.
When it boils down to less than a $10 difference between a raw and a slab, you might as well kick in that extra 10, because
it's
you're going to
19
recoup more premium back when you go to sell.
And it's $19 to grade a coin, no matter what. So, I mean, you're making money by just doing that anyway. It's easier to sell graded. More dealers are going to know what it is. They better. And it's going to be more appealing to them. They'll go, yes, I want this one. I may already have 30 of these. I don't need it, but yes, I want this one. Versus, oh, you got a 2013 ASE. I've got a monster box I can't do anything with, and they might pass it. So I'm not saying all dealers. There are some out there that will do that. I ran into a couple, but
everybody finds their niche.
They do, and so basically the point of this is, so I've been on silver for the last half hour. What do you what about gold? Now, gold eagles, gold buffaloes, or just gold bullion bars? What would be the better? What would be not would be the better to buy, but what would be, if you had them? What would be the better to sell back?
Well, this is what I've done some research on looking at gold when I've gone to coin shows and YouTube and all that. And one thing that's become a driving theme is it doesn't matter if it's a 1 ounce piece or 10th ounce pieces. They treat it all the same,
right,
when it comes to selling back.
Right.
And so a fractional piece, you're going to lose a lot of that premium when you sell back.
Yeah.
As opposed to silver, where you can find some of that premium back. So gold, I'm of the mindset gold is your silver's what you stack and it's on the table for quick moving back and forth. Gold's what you throw in the safe and forget about.
Right. And I know that it is cheaper to buy the 1 ounce bars of gold,
Yeah.
but
nobody can afford it.
Yeah, that's the problem. And so to me, I say gold is not the better investment right now unless you have the money to do it. And here's why: because people are going to have the money for the 1 gram bars, maybe the 2.5 gram bars, maybe the 1/10 gold eagle, and they're going to charge you 200 and some odd, 230, 250 for the gold eagle or something of that nature. But the problem is when you go to sell it, they're only going to give you 180, 190 because there's so much premium on fractional gold and inflation on it that you can't. It's not a good investment anywhere around. The only way gold is a good investment is if you can buy ounces or more at a time. If you
then
can buy
you're
ounces
for
or
reasonable
more,
prices.
yes.
That's when you can get it down to the premiums are, less than like 3%. You get there. If you're having to pay 10% or more premium on gold, you're paying too much.
Right.
But if that's all you can afford, it's better to have some gold than none.
It is better to have some. And so to me, I'm not saying that gold is not a good investment, but I'm not telling you not to buy gold because gold is something really good to have when you're trying to liquefy your cash into precious metals. Fractional gold is something really good to have, but just know when you go to buy it, when you go to resell it, unless spot has gone way up and you found an incline real quick to go sell it, you'll recoup some of those premiums back. But that's the only way you're going to be able to. So when it comes to the gold, just know that it's a good thing to have for the hedge against inflation of your currency or your my camera focus. There we go. But just know that if you buy 4 or 5 10th-ounce gold eagles and you go to sell them in 3 days, you're going to lose a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
It's something like Nerd said. You're going to buy them, put them in your safe. Maybe gold is something you'd want to do for retirement, which is fractional gold. I think is something very, very good to have, but for 10, 20 years, not something
right.
2 to 3 years.
Silver
you can 2 to 3 it, but
I don't ever sell it.
Right, gold you want to keep in there for.
When it comes time to sell my gold, at that point it doesn't matter.
When it comes time to sell your gold, Nerd, hi. No. When you go to sell your 10 and 5 ounce bars, hey, I'm kidding.
Not many of them. Where'd they go? Yeah,
that's oh, you only got what, 10 or 12 a piece? I'm kidding.
Let me see if I can lift this damn thing. Oh my god, it's heavy. Now remember,
he's like, oh, I don't have much. Oh, it's really heavy. Oh yeah, crunch.
There's my 10 and 5 ounces.
There you go, guys. We'll present them while we talk about this. Give it something better to look at there.
That's all just 5 and 10 ounce in here. Yeah, that's what this is. That's something I got into within the last year and a half, and I just decided I wanted to start stacking chunkier silver. The premiums are better on them, and I mean, you're paying such lower premiums. I mean, a lot of stuff. Now, granted, I bought half of that when I was paying $300 a bar back when it was climbing and it was up there. But I mean, some of it I paid in the 230s, 240.
Right. I mean, because compared to, like I was saying earlier with these here.
Speaking of premiums, did you check out what I sent you or what I told you to check out?
I actually did check it out, but unfortunately
it was a bit.
Unfortunately, my funds are not here right now.
That's I figured that. I mean, I took a shot at it because when's the last time you got gold at spot, right?
But especially a 10-gram piece. Oh, come on, now. Come on. Exactly. I was crying. I'm man enough to say I was crying because I'm like, I can't afford it until I can't. Now they had it next week.
They had that. I think it's still in stock. They had so many of them for that price. It must have been something they've been picking up. They picked up for a while and is sitting on back when silver, gold crashed down.
Something more to look at here. Versus my ugly mug, but yeah, so stuff like this would be premium stuff. Like, this is a chibi.
Mm-hmm.
This is those square 1 ounce bars, and then this is just a $5. It's a $1.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
It's a $1 Nui, and it's just a foil note from the Perth Mint. So it's just why is my camera all what's it lopsided? Whatever. There you go. But anyway. But hey, Luke Duke, hi Flash, welcome guys, welcome everybody to the stream.
Tibbies, I don't know how much you're looking to get into them, but right now, Sideshow.com is offering a buy one get one 50% off sale for their Black Friday, and their chibis are $99. You can get 2 for $150.
Yeah, I mean, I like having chibis when I'm at the conventions, only because, but I like having different characters because it's something cool to bring people to the table. I like having stuff like this here, like even on YouTube, you don't see these kinds of slabs a lot. It's not something like this. You don't see. We're used to normal small slabs with normal coins in them. When you get into the bigger slabs, you're like, wait, what? And it brings people to the table, and then they might see something to do, and it's just a good thing to bring. So, but sorry, there we go, got the camera done. But what do you think of? Since we got into gold a little bit, what do you think of platinum? Buy, sell, buy it, and throw it in the safe and hold on to it.
I don't mess with platinum.
Why not?
Because platinum, to me, is more speculative because it's never been a tested, tried and true form of money. It's not as recognizable. I mean, it's getting its followers, don't get me wrong, but it's never been minted throughout history. I think they're starting to do it here.
Well, I mean, you do have the Platinum Eagles now that the U.S.
now,
is doing. But I mean, they've had them for a few years that they're doing. Is it just that metal that you don't know much enough about it, so you're going to?
No, I keep up with the prices. It's just I don't. It just I already have one white metal I'm messing with. I don't want to mess with another one. So.
No.
And you look at the industrial uses of platinum, and platinum doesn't have as many uses as gold and silver does. And when it comes to industrial, you see it more in like catalytic converters and things like that.
Yeah, that's another one, catalytic converter.
Yeah. So I just the platinum, rhodium. I don't. I know that they're out there. I know they're part of the precious metal pool.
Right.
But
well, this next one isn't precious metal, but what do you think of copper? Like people stacking up like copper piping or copper pennies or things like that. What do you think of that?
Copper, if you picked it up cheaper than what it was than what it cost, then good for you. I personally won't stack copper because it is too space intensive.
Uh-huh.
And I refuse to collect little 1 ADVP ounce rounds and even spend $1 for them when copper is $4 an ounce. I mean, $4 a pound.
Right.
I mean, a pound. Yeah.
I mean,
and it's not something that it's like, oh, there's a difference between paper and physical. You go buy copper wiring and get it, and that's pure grade A copper. And you're still paying
show me later,
what,
all right?
$8 a pound?
Right.
So why would I want to stack little 1 ounce rounds or small things like that when you can go out and get raw copper a lot cheaper? It's just to me, to me, it's not a precious metal by any means.
No, it's not a precious metal.
It
I
is,
was
it
just
is a it's industrial, and it was used as a form of exchange in that respect when it came to like copper pennies and stuff. But it's still.
right.
I know people that stack the pennies waiting for America to go, hey, we're going to do away with the penny. Now you can go melt them all and make their 2.5 to 3 cents a piece on them. Hey, good for
Right.
them.
I
But
mean, I think there's a place for it, but I don't think it's a great.
it's not a store of wealth.
Yeah, it's not a good thing for investing. That's what I.
You have to weigh several things when you're storing things for wealth preservation, and space is one of them. And I can take and get a 1 ounce generic silver round and have more wealth preserved in that little 1 ounce than I probably have in several pounds of copper. So it gets back to that whole, would you rather have to stack gold or silver? Well, gold can hold as much wealth as, what is it, 88 to 1 right now? So technically 1 ounce of gold is worth the same as 88 ounces of silver at pure base metal.
Right.
Same thing with copper. I mean, they've always used copper as the common form of exchange, silver as the payment system form of exchange, and gold as your preservation of wealth.
Right. And and that's a thing that another thing I would Kiki says hi everybody, happy Thanksgiving to y'all. But I mean, again, being a dealer, I can see where there is a place for it. For copper, I can see where there's a place for platinum. I can see where there's obviously a place for gold and silver. But I can also see where there's a place for numismatics and the collector market, but not just in coins, but also in currency and old paper money. There's a market for that. Just like you said earlier.
Has to find their niche. Everybody has to find what they're wanting to do, what their purpose is, and then stick with it. If you try to do it all, you're going to fail because you're going to wind up going underwater and not having much to show for it.
Right.
But if you find your niche, find what you want to do and why you're doing it, and stick with it, then you'll be successful. But you can't do it all. You shouldn't try to do it all.
No, you shouldn't try to do it all. And I'm gonna let you know in on a little secret. Even coin dealers, they don't do it all. Hang on. Not all dealers do it all either. They don't.
Just find your place.
But anyway, because all dealers, they get whatever the dealer is comfortable with, more so like whether it be halves, Morgans. Like when you go to a coin show, you'll see certain dealers that'll have a bunch of display cases full of constitutional silver. They'll have some rounds. They'll have some slabbed. They'll have some slabbed coins or what have you. And then there'll be other dealers that'll have. They're going to be your currency dealers. Then you're going to have some dealers that are going to have. They're going to be your graded bullion dealers. That's their niche. That's what they're comfortable in. Not to say that they won't buy whatever you bring because they can resell it, but that's not what their forte is, because not every dealer gets into everything because it's too mind-boggling. We can't.
You can't. I mean, like when I was big into the toys, I would buy and sell and collect toys.
Yeah.
You put a vintage Star Wars in front of me, I can tell you who it is, when it was made, where it was made, how it was made, what came with it. I can tell you all about it. I knew that market very, very, very well. GI Joes, I couldn't tell you who it was to save my life. And that's just two different toys. A toy dealer isn't even going to deal on everything. They're going to find their niche, and they're going to be very fluid in that niche.
Right. And, it's just like you talk toys, Hot Wheel people.
Mm-hmm.
There's a market for cards, Pokemon, Magic, baseball, football. There's markets for everything. You just gotta. But as far as the precious metals goes and investing, there's argument out there: is precious metals always a good investment? The answer is no. The answer is no. It's not. There is other things better that's out there, but if gold and silver is what you know, then you're already ahead of the game.
And you always have to ask why you're doing it.
Right.
That's the big thing. If you want to go invest in things and play the stock market, then go gamble with your money, and I hope you win. But if you're stacking, even if you're collector stacking, your purpose is not to hold it for a little while and get rid of it and try to make money. Your purpose is there's a reason why you're doing that.
Right.
And precious metals is unique in that instance, in that you're buying it for a reason. The initial reason that everybody buys precious metals is because they're afraid something might happen and they want to make sure that they don't lose their shirt.
Exactly.
At least they'll have something there that will hold a little bit of the value of their wealth, so that if something goes down, they can recoup some of their wealth back. And that's just, precious metals, real estate, art, things like that are land. Those are things that people put their money in. They park their wealth in so they can keep their wealth.
Right.
And if you want to preserve your wealth, you've got to ride the ups and downs with it. That's why they say don't look where it is now. Look where it's going to be in 20 years, because that's when you're going to finally get rid of it.
And the people that make the best money are the people that are not fortune tellers, but that made a good decision or did their homework.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Gates is one of them. There's plenty of people that own property that before they bought it, before Walmart or whatever showed up, which made it commercial property, which blew their property value up because they bought it way back when, but they saw that the town was up and coming or what have you. It's just like with certain gold. Now there are certain things out there I thought would take off that didn't, and I'm glad I didn't invest heavily in them. But one of them is the silver rounds, the Star Wars coins. I thought for sure those were going to take off, because they had different design each year. I really thought pandas would have took off more by now. I really thought that your kookaburras would have took off more. But they just become an everyday bullion coin.
And I can see that. The only thing that even in Eagles, they're everyday bullion coins, except for certain years that hit key dates that were shorter printed or special printed, and those become the stars of the show. Everything else just gets tossed in the bullion bin along with everything else. And so when I'm looking at pandas and kooks and kangaroos and all that, Austrian Philharmonics, we can go on and on.
Right.
Noah's Ark. There's all kinds. Every country has a mint that's been minting coinage.
Mm-hmm.
It's just bullion to me. There's no special to it. Even these what they call island nation coins, the Star Wars and stuff that's coming out of Nui and from the New Zealand mints and Australian mints and stuff, it's still just bullion. Now you may see a premium. You may see a premium because it costs a little more for them at one time to get it out there, and it may hold a premium better than other things. But at the end of the day, unless you like it because you like it, it's just bullion.
Right.
I collect. I've got some things I've collected and held back as I get them. Like I've got some of the Marvel coins. I've got some of the special Privy Mark Canadian Maple Leaves. I've got some of the I've got some of the Star Wars stuff, Lord of the Rings. Anytime something special comes along, I'm like, hey, I like that. I'll try to get it and I'll put it up. It ain't going nowhere. At the end
Right.
of the day, though, when it comes to sale, I'll probably get the same I get for that from any other government
Right.
bullion, but it's something I like to collect at that time. I don't pay
Ex-
a super premium for it, but I don't mind paying a few dollars more for that if I had a choice between that and, say, a Maple Leaf. I'll pay
Right.
an extra $3-4 for that just to have a nicer coin.
Now, that's just me, from a dealer's point of view, I'd rather take Maple Leaves in versus ASEs. And the reason for that being is they're still both a bullion coin.
Mhm.
But if you look at the monster boxes, ASEs are 19,000 and change. A monster box of Maple Leaves are only 14,000. To me, they're still,
Right.
when you go to resell the individual coin, you're going to get the same amount back at certain dealers. So
Right.
I would rather have Maple Leaves and not lose as much money versus
Right.
ASEs and lose more money.
Oh yeah.
So
But
that's just
ASC is a special critter right now.
it. Really is.
I mean, out of everything else, it probably holds the highest "quote unquote" premium of them all because people they feel that that's the safe haven when they don't realize it's all government backed.
Right, and I like how you use the word safe haven, but then a lot of people in different places when they go to resell them, they're learning that it's not as safe as they thought.
No,
They're
China's
really
printing
learning
out
that,
pretty
and I think a
safe.
lot of people are stuck with a lot of these ASEs that they've paid way too much for, and I think a lot of people are getting burned on ASEs right now. So,
Well,
but again, you buy what you want, you buy what you like, but
price number is a fickle thing. You remember
it,
what it was yesterday, and you want it for
right,
that price, but it's that yesterday's gone.
exactly,
Either it went down, you got a better deal, or it went up and you lost out on that good deal. You're never
right.
going to be happy unless you just buy it. The best time to buy it is when you want it and you can afford it.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to be just a stacker to collect, or not collect, excuse me. If you're just going to invest in precious metals, gold and silver, you would be the guy that should just stick with the 3 9's fine, 4 9's fine, the bullion bars or the rounds. You should be that person. Yeah, like Nerd made mention earlier, you will get a little bit more back from an actual bullion coin versus a bullion round. But depending on where you sell it, I know some that they'll buy a kookaburra for the same price they'll buy an SMI mint round. So you got to be careful. Really got to know when you go to sell, you got to shop around. Just like when you're going to buy, you need to shop around, but you need to really shop around when you go to sell. Don't be intimidated when you take in your silver to this first counter and they give you the price. Don't be intimidated where, okay, well, I brought it all in, so now I have to sell it. No, not, pick it up, take it with you. There's going to be no hard feelings. It's just some people feel intimidated to where they're like, well, I have to sell it now because it's already here. No, you don't. You don't. Sell it to sell it at a price that you're comfortable with. Just know that you're not going to get back all the money you've put into it over time. At least not a lot of people will, because if people are always buying silver and gold, you're always buying it at different prices. You can't say, well, I bought this tube for this and this for this, when you're only buying one or two at a time. So it's really hard to say that you can make an investment profit on this unless you're doing it for the long haul. If you're doing it like Siren, she put in chat earlier, I buy everything and sell nothing. I buy it and save it and don't sell it. Well, in my mind, she's doing it the smart way. She's buying it all, and she's just saving it till when she retires or gets older or a rainy day, or she wants that, when she's done working, maybe she wants to sell it all and turn it all in and go live the life, travel, whatever she wants to do that she couldn't do earlier in life. Some people do it for that reason, but people buy for different reasons. Um, but just know that you're not going to fully get in a great return on your investment in precious metals unless you're patient and you do it for a long period of time. It's not like a stock market where you get in while it's hot and then you sell quickly. No, you'll lose money every time if you buy silver this month and sell it next month. You're going to lose. Just know that it doesn't matter where the market is. You're just going to lose. But what are your thoughts on that, nerd? Do you agree or do you disagree?
Everything you said is good. I mean, you have to set aside what you're willing to lock up, and you have to be willing to put it up. 90% of my stack is put up. The stuff you see on my table usually is just stuff that I get in quick and I move to try to get something I want, and that's it. I don't necessarily keep everything, but sometimes I'll buy a lot and it'll have 10, 12 coins in it. I only wanted 2 of them. So
Right.
in order to get the price down, I had to buy all 12. That happens. And then I try to recoup as much as I can out of the other 10. But it boils down to, what do you want? What are you doing it for? And how long are you willing to lock it up? Because
Right.
every dollar you put in is not going to be a dollar you get out, especially not quickly. Like I said,
Right.
I
It's
started
not.
back in
Yeah.
started in 2011 at right after the tippy top, and I was paying about 35 a coin back then.
Yeah.
And I just said okay. And when it started going down and down and down, I wrote it down, just kept buying. It's like, well, no point selling. No matter what I sell, I'm going to lose. So I might as well just hold on to it. I've always been that way though. If I see it going down, I'll ride it to the dirt. Because if I sell it, it's gone, and I've taken my loss. If I still have it, it may be worth 0, but I still got it.
Right. See, now me, and I've talked to you about this before on other people's live streams. Right now, and I'm just buying graded stuff. That's what I'm doing because the premiums are just so ridiculous for me as a dealer. I'm kind of getting out of the bullion market in a way, at least the raw stuff. Have a great day, Flash. Thanks for being here. But I'm sticking with the graded. The reason I'm sticking with it is because it's a certain price point. You know what it is. It's not argumentative. Third company said it was this, and that's the price. When you have people selling when you have people selling kookaburras, koalas, whatever, and they're raw, you might have this guy over here selling it for 30 or 32 a piece, but you gotta have this guy over here at 28. Well, I understand that slab bullion is not the best thing, but here's the reason I like it, because if you have an MS69 slab panda, it's a $48 coin, whatever. You know what it is. The price is right there. Now, the dealer could say, I'm selling it for 42, or I'm selling it for 40, or what have you. You're getting a good deal. You already know where the market is and everything of that nature. That's why I'm sticking with the graded stuff right now, even when it comes to currency. I am going to buy currency that is ungraded, but I'm going to be very finicky with what I buy for probably until next summer. And the same way with rounds or bullion, unless one of my wholesalers has them for almost at spot. Then, yeah, at that point I'll pick them up. But to me, the inflation, it's just too manipulated, too much right now, and it's nobody's fault. It always just happens that way in any election year, a midterm election. But I think this is something that we've been seeing climb and climb and climb. And now we're at the peak of it, to where you got inflation, you've got just I can't think of the right word. Just to where your inflation and your premiums are, it's almost like a volcano. It's just been building and building and building, and now it's getting ready to overflow on everybody. And I mean, we already see it with ASCs, and it's just not something I want to get into because I don't want to buy a Panda at $28 and then have to sell it for 30. At that point, I feel like I feel like I'm ripping somebody off because I should be selling raw pandas, you know, for cheaper than what I first bought it for. So that's just me. But unfortunately, you can't find anybody selling them without losing money. So we're in this big old cycle. And that's what brought me to what I mentioned earlier. I love the channels, you know, the midweek flea markets, the trade days, Mama T's flea market, stuff like that. It's just some of the prices. It's their price. You take it or leave it. And unfortunately, I'm just leaving it because it just. And I think that's why it's a lot harder for people to move merchandise right now because a lot of the people that have this stuff, they bought it higher than they should have, and now they're trying to either just get rid of it or flip it. And unfortunately, their prices are too high or even higher than what people are wanting to pay for it in general. And so I think that's why a lot of people are stuck with what they've got right now and can't move it around. And so people are trying to figure out, well, how can I move this stuff without losing money? And unfortunately, unless you hang on to it for a while, you're not going to. You're going to lose money unless you can get creative with something, or what have you. So, but I don't know. Have you been selling lately, nerd? Or
Not really. I mean, the last thing I did was I put together some grab bags and sold a few last night. That was it.
where were you selling those at?
The midweek flea market.
Oh, I must have missed you. I was in there. I said hi, but I must have missed you. Because I was going to see if you did, if you were going to get into the grab bag or not. Because that is a good way, guys. You know how certain people, which is going to bring me to the next segment. Hey, Cajun, it's going to bring me to the next segment, and I know some of you people, and there's, I have no problem with this. I participate in some of them, but I participate in them just for the enjoyment, which are people's games. Games is something that has blown up on YouTube, and it's becoming almost a little too crazy at this point. If I participate in someone's game, I'm only doing it not to win. I mean, yeah, winning would be a bonus, but I'm doing it just for the enjoyment of doing it. Now, if you're participating in people's games you're promoting and helping their channel, that's great. If you're doing it for the enjoyment and the entertainment, that's great. If you're doing it just for stacking and investing purposes, get out.
Yep.
Because you're going to lose your shirt if you're doing it for an investment standpoint. Don't do it for an investment standpoint. I understand that there's that certain way that people can only afford to get premium stuff that they collect and that they like because they can't afford the 150 at a time, blah, 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 for the piece itself. I get it. I understand it. But all I'm saying is when you go to resell it, just know you're not going to get retail back for it. So that's all I'm trying to say. But grab bags are actually a really good thing for people that need to move some merch. With like if you have premiums that you want to get rid of and you spent too much money on them, maybe you guys might want to think of trade day and midweek flea market, early bird trade day, Mama T's flea market of maybe some grab bags. Grab bags would be a good thing. I mean, I've done grab bags for Nerd's done them. I know Dizzy Giraffes has done grab bags. A few other people have done grab bags, and you can do 2 or 3 ounces of bullion coins for say $70 or 75, or and throw in some other like shield nickels or Indian pennies or something of that nature, saying that you're guaranteed to get this much amount of silver, or you can do a 1 ounce grab bag, or do like a 2.5 ounce grab bag of, could be constitutional, it could be rounds, and it just might be a way to move your merchandise because people like the thrill of the mystery, and that might just be a good idea for you to move some of your stuff that you haven't been able to move before.
Yeah, I mean, I put them at guaranteed 2 ounce minimum, $60 shipped, and several of them have. I think it's only 2 of them that actually had 2 ounces. Everything else is like two ounces and some like a half-ounce worth of rounds or constitutional, something like that.
Right.
One of them I had 3 ounces in, but I just looked at what I had in them and everything I threw in there, and basically I'm just getting what I wanted to get out of the stuff anyway. I'm getting that, doing it that way, and
Right, and that's what I'm talking about versus just trying to sell your 1 ounce Robin Hood or your 1 ounce blah 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 blah. For $30 a piece that no one's going to buy right now because people might think that's too high of a spot, that's too much over. But if you do it in a grab bag style, or if you make a creative way of selling it, then maybe it's a good way to sell it that way. And I think it would work very well because I've seen grab bags on multiple different people's platforms and channels go very well. Sorry about the background noise, everybody. Sister-in-law showed up real quick. Sorry, I'm trying to. You take over for a minute, or I got to mute. They're getting loud.
All right.
But now, anyway, I just think we can stay on the grab bag, but I just think grab bags are a good way to go. It's not something new, but it is still in a way where people are, it's still a mystery and it's still fun. Are you going to make any more?
Yeah, I got rid of 4 of the 10 that I made up, and I'll probably look and see what I've got and puts together some more of things that I have. I don't have a lot left in terms of just generic. I've got some. I've still got bullion that I could put in. I tried to make it to where you had, no less than 1 bullion, 1 generic ounce. So it was like 2 ounces, or it was a combination 2 ounces plus generic, bullion, or constitutional is what you got. One of those 3 or a mixture of.
All right. So I mean, and people can come up with different ways of how they'd want to do it. I mean, you could make a 2 ounce, you could make a 5 ounce bag. I mean, you could or you could just make it a $100 grab bag and say that there's this much silver in it, but there might be a graded coin in there. There might be some Indian pennies, things of that nature. So
only thing I had that I threw in there was I had some foreign coins, non-silver foreign coins. I threw in some of the bags just as bonuses. Just started throwing them in different bags just because. Will do, Scoop. I'll send you an email.
All right. Well, Nerd, I appreciate it. I think we're going to cut it off because I think we've touched all the topics that we wanted to touch on. That between the gold and silver and the spot and premiums, and just make it aware that because I see it a lot, on different people's channels. Of just know when you get premium stuff, you're not going to get retail back for it unless you get very creative. Even with certain games, they're not going anymore because people are like, okay, we played this too many times, or we all got one of those or something, and so we're they're trying to. You got to think of something else creatively to get rid of your stuff. Because if you take it to a shop, or you take it to a dealer or a coin guy in the, in a coin show or something, you might be able to trade for something, but you're not going to get, the retail $150 or whatever for it. Now,
Right.
and then also know that if you sell it to the guy, he is going to turn around and sell it for the retail price because that's his job. He's a dealer. That's what he does.
Gotta make money. Gotta keep the lights on.
He's not gonna take a 2-ounce Batman limited to 200 pieces and buy it from you for $80. Yeah, he's going to turn around and put it back in the case for 150 or $60. So just know that. So, but I appreciate everybody being here today. Thank you guys. Happy Thanksgiving to all you guys. I'm glad you guys tuned in. It was nice to see some of you. It was nice to see some of you I haven't seen in a long time, and I'm sorry I haven't been live in a while. But this was just a topic that was irking me because I've been seeing too many people get burned and too many people getting frustrated. And when you get frustrated in a hobby that you want to collect, you tend to just back away from it. We want to get more people into the hobby versus discouraged out of the hobby. So that I hope this helps somebody now and in the future if you're watching this. But until next time, guys, I appreciate you all being here. Emmy, I will tell Mom that you love her. But right now, Mom's got bronchitis and pneumonia, so she's staying far away from me. So, but yeah, she got a double whammy. But it's all spreading around here. But I will definitely tell her. And Miss Delaney, Miss Emmy, you can give Mom a call anytime if you still have her number, or hit her up on Facebook or something. Keep in touch that way. So, all right, guys. So until next time, y'all have a fantastic, happy Thanksgiving, and we will talk to you later.
Catch you later, guys.